With the ongoing dispute, the legal dispute rather, between the Aam Aadmi Party regime and the centre
Thank you.
over the control of Delhi's bureaucracy, and the ongoing public spat between the Delhi Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister, a series of letters being written by the CM. So, can you just briefly discuss the situation?
Look, at this point of time, what is transpiring in the Honorable Supreme Court is with respect to the contention of the Delhi government to have their control over the posting and transfer right over the bureaucrats, which are posted in the Delhi government and its schemes by the center. So this is the primary crux. What had happened, it all had started since the 69th Amendment of the Constitution, which gives power to both the government as well as the administrator. That amendment, which primarily talks about the power of the administrator to allow the execution of the project of the Delhi government, which has to be done on the aid and advice of the cabinet, which must be the primary contention, which was not earlier being done in the same spirit. Therefore, the government, the Delhi government, approached the Honorable Supreme Court in year 2018, and the dispute between the parties were settled by the Honorable Supreme Court, saying that on all those issues wherein the Delhi government has the power to make law, in all those issues, all the execution of the project will be done by the administrator on the aid and advice of the
If I may
government.
intervene, what
Yes.
exactly is this transferred and the reserved list? You know that in the letter, or rather in the series of letters, he has mentioned these two terms consistently: the transferred and the reserved list. So, what exactly are the legal formulation of those two words? Can you just tell us briefly?
What is happening that the state list, which has been mentioned there in the Constitution, in the 69th Amendment, the Delhi government has been conferred with the power to make law with respect to the entries in those lists, with a rider on it, which says that the first, third, and eighth entry, which is with respect to public order, police, and land. For
And
these
land, right?
three entries, the power is still being retained by the Union of India, and for rest of the entries, the Delhi government has the power to make law. So this is the transferred list which is being referred by the government of Delhi, that the rest of the area which is there mentioned in the state list beside these entries, they have the power to make law, and therefore any decision which has to be taken with respect to those laws, any decision which will be taken by the council of minister will be binding upon the administrator, and he'll have to work in accordance to the aid and advice of the council of minister.
Over the last few days, over the last 4 days, basically, the Supreme Court has made a very important observation. They have said that if most of the administration is under the center, or rather, if the control over the bureaucracy is under the center, then what is the use of an elected government in Delhi? So, could you throw some light on that aspect?
In case of union territories, the union territories does not have any bearing upon entries for still being in case of Delhi is being held by the Union of India, which are absolutely authorized for the transfer and posting of the bureaucrats in all the departments of Delhi government. Now, at this point of time, the Delhi government has a contention that if I have been given, conferred with the power to make law with respect to a field, therefore I should also have been given power to deal with those who are at the helm of execution of those laws. There, if I will only have a right to make a law, but I cannot execute it because the bureaucrats will remain under the power of somebody else. Therefore, because the execution is at the end of the day in the hand of the bureaucrat, and if bureaucrats are answerable to Union of India, therefore they will never will concede to the directions of the government of Delhi. And in that case, despite the fact that I have a right to power to make a law on it, I will have no bearing upon the execution of such law, which is inconsistent with the spirit of the constitution.
In extension, the court has also asked the Aam Aadmi Party that bureaucrats who are particularly working in three departments, public order, land, and police, are they under Delhi government's? Can the Delhi government control those bureaucrats? That is a very important question which the Supreme Court has posed. So, this is clear, right? They are not under the Delhi government's. They are under the central government, basically.
Yes, there's no dispute about it. As far as, even though if you look at the contention of the Delhi government, they are also saying it that in those areas where they are empowered to make law, therefore it is very categorical under the amendment, at least in these three entries, like land, public order, and police. They are anyways otherwise also not empowered to make any law. At this point of time, it does not seem very plausible that the bureaucrats who are at the helm of these three departments, the Delhi government will seek their control over those bureaucrats who are at the helm of these three departments.
So basically, going ahead, how do we resolve this logjam? We are seeing a lot of bureaucratic decisions being impacted. What is the solution to resolve this logjam?
Today, there's a statement made by our learned Solicitor General, who says that if you look at the ground reality, in last more than 20 years since this Delhi government law is in action, it's only the 7 times in last 20 years, it's only 7 times that the dispute between the government and the LG, the administrator, has been referred to the president. Therefore, and the same thing has also been suggested by the it was also falling from the Honorable Supreme Court, that the best possible way to clear this logjam would be a political understanding between the parties. Possible political solution of the dispute must be taken.
In this dispute, one of the arguments that the Centre's Council had made is that the powers between the Lieutenant Governor and the Delhi CM, they are truncated, because basically it's well divided.
Yes,
so if
yes.
they are well divided, what is the issue that keeps on cropping up from time to time?
The issue is that once the one party tried to encroach in the right of the other one. As far as the Honorable Supreme Court is concerned, I think the power of the government has been very categorically decided by virtue of the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court, which has very categorically says that in those the legislative power is in consonance with the executive power of the Delhi government, and therefore in all those areas wherein the Delhi government has a power to make laws, they also have a power to execute, and therefore the aid and advice of the council will be binding upon the lieutenant governor or the administrator. So I think both the parties have to be within their fences and have to take a constitutional view of the dispute.
I would like to thank you once again, Mr. Kumar, for breaking this complex issue once again for our viewers at the Federal. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on your show. Thank you so much.